Today you are in for a treat. I'm going to take you on a tour of the garden of a dear family friend of mine. I've known him and his family since I moved into the little house next door at the age of 8, and it blesses me to still have a relationship with him and his family today. The same dirt this garden is planted in is the same dirt I used to play on as a child. Now my son gets to walk on it. How special. This gentleman has condensed a lifetime of knowledge, experience, and stories into his plot of land where he harvests over 6,000 pounds of produce each year. You can hear his passion when he talks about the potatoes and see his experience when he is showing off his peas, blueberries, tomatoes, and all of the other things he has planted on his property. I was blessed to talk to him for several hours this evening, and I am grateful to him for opening up his garden so you all can see what he has created. Sit down, grab a drink, a notepad, there's a lot to learn, and join me as we take a tour of this magnificent garden.
So the backyard used to be, this was all garden.
Yes.
It was 50 by 70
Yes.
at one point, you know, so that's 3,500 square feet. Well, it kind of ran out, kind of got small. And that tree, being a pecan tree, is never going to stop growing.
Oh, really?
That thing is 50 feet easy, you know, and it shades me out at 4 o'clock. This is all shade.
Okay.
Even, and it's going to get worse.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's going to get worse. So, so everything had to be, I mean, I was stretching, you know, the sun to get it.
Yeah.
So I tried to plant the sun lovers down there.
Yeah.
To get, you know, behind it. But then that tree kept getting bigger, and it was a problem, you know. So finally, I just said, you know what? I'm going out there and shutting it down. This is real holy because this is where I bury squirrels and stuff, and raccoons and all kinds of things. This was the graveyard right here, and we got a family of foxes, and they have a great sense of smell, and they dug a lot.
No way.
Bones. I come out and there's a skull laying here.
Gosh, it's kind of scary.
Old stuff. I mean, we're talking 100 animals buried right here. There'd be skulls out laying on the ground and stuff, and then I have to go rebury them.
It's like Pet Cemetery type stuff.
Yes, yeah, right here. That's why these are. See?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's like a hole. That's a hole. There's a hole.
Yeah.
You know. I
mean, they got after it there.
Right here, I used to just plant animals. So
that's funny. Okay, so tell me, peach.
A couple of peach, a Bartlett pear, and an Asian pear that is 2 years old. Those are all 2 years. Well, actually, this is the third year. So they're going on their third summer.
The peach as well is only 2?
Uh-huh.
That's pretty good size for.
But they've never had a peach. So
isn't that odd? We have 2 pear trees.
Froze this year.
Maybe that's what it was.
Everything. And then this year, I planted a cherry, 2 more Asian, and 3 apple.
Oh, so that's a cherry there.
And
where do you
do great here?
Really?
Yeah, they do very well. You just have to keep the birds away.
Okay.
That's their deal.
Yeah.
Birds.
Okay.
The disease and all that stuff is really easy, and they load up with fruit, and you only have to plant one. They don't have to cross pollinate with anything. They just. I think that you have something good. They're very friendly. If you have something in your hand, they will check you. You know, they're coming for food. Like, you know, they're like, hey, come feed me. I give them June bugs, the green June bugs out of the garden, and see how they think I got something. You know, now they don't pet my fingers because they know what food is. Yeah. But whenever Gabe was here, his little boy would put his fingers in here, and they would try to eat his fingers. Oh my gosh. Because he had tiny fingers.
How old are they?
2 years. So that's why they're molting and losing their feathers, and they're not in great shape because they're old. Now a couple of them are pretty.
Yeah.
But these are Asa Brown.
Asa Brown. Okay.
And they lay a really pretty brown egg. I don't know if there's any eggs in here.
Yeah.
There might be one. But this is how you get into it over here.
Oh yeah.
1 egg. Yep.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. Every day, and they like this side and they hate this side. So I made that side bigger.
I wonder why that is.
And there'll be 2 in there.
Okay.
They're left-handed chickens. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, but this keeps them from safe because the raccoons cannot get in here. This is how I get into there.
Do you have lots of raccoons out here?
Well, I have less than most.
Do you trap them?
But I do everything I can to control them.
Okay.
But then at night they go to bed in here and roost, and this is how I have a trap door. So I just made this to where.
Oh yeah, look at that.
See, it's wire, so it seals them up. So
wow.
they're safe.
And so you come up there, you come out here every day
Every night and every morning.
Wow.
When I give them water, you know, and I check them for, you know, water. Sometimes on a hot day, they will drink a gallon.
Okay.
I used to use blood meal and bone meal, and I still do. Like there's a
yeah.
bunch of stuff in here. I use kelp and all kinds of stuff,
okay.
you know, and I keep it in here. This is oyster shell, which gives you calcium in your soil.
Oh yeah, yep.
Is ground up, you know, oyster shell.
So
and,
do you put that on top? Because I know you do the mulching. You put it on top of the mulching.
I keep everything goes on top, but I make my own potting soil. This stuff came from New Mexico. My sister lives up by Cuba, and this stuff is a rock.
Wow.
And it has all kinds of minerals and stuff in it, and it's almost like perlite, but there's a mountain of it. I mean, like a mountain. And they mine this stuff. I'll show you. You get 50-pound bags of this stuff.
Okay.
And it's a soil conditioner, but it's got humic acid in it.
Okay.
And humic acid is a big thing for your garden. And so I have 100 pounds of this stuff that I got when I was in New Mexico.
Do you do this throughout the year, or do you?
In the spring, I do heavy everything, but then throughout the year, I continue to fertilize the longer lasting plants like tomatoes.
See,
You have to, or and I'll show you, you know, when we get over there. And then there's kelp and there's other stuff in there. I forget. There's like 6 or 7 amendments in there. Oh, azomite.
Yeah, I've heard
green
of azomite.
Sand. Different things that have a lot of minerals. Mineralizing your soil is really important. If your soil is lacking minerals, your stuff doesn't taste as nice and wonderful.
That makes sense.
And like russet potato for the store, it's been grown in the same farms for 75 years.
Yep.
Idaho potato, same guys grow it, same dirt, same everything, but they have. You know, to keep the plants healthy, they have to basically fumigate the soil every year with all kinds of chemicals and fungicide and all kinds of stuff and fertilizer. It's all commercial. It's all synthetic, commercialized stuff, and then poison and you know, kill the bugs, and you know, it's that whole deal.
Yep.
Well, that's when we start growing our own potatoes. These are kind of on the edge of that, but I'll show you.
So these are peonies, though, right?
Yes, those are peonies, and
those
these are the colors that I have on the page that are yellow and red and orange, and they're real pretty colors.
We planted a bunch of peonies last summer. We got them in too late, so they didn't produce very well this year.
They'll live forever. Yeah. Those 2 rows out there are 60 years old. So I moved the garden here. When I first started it, it was about 15 foot square. Okay. And I planted okra. That was the first thing I planted.
Yeah.
And then I realized, you know what? I should just turn this whole thing into back to Eden. And that's how it got. And then the sidewalk's right there. So I had dump trucks, you know, tree guys come in. One year I had 6 piles of 20 yards apiece, 120 cubic yards of wood chips. And some of the chips were huge and raggedy. They were tough. Branches in it and stuff, you know, but I got it all covered over. The first year I covered, let's say I covered about 3,000 square feet with 18 inches. And I mean hardcore 18 inches. Yeah. And I thought, I won't have to do this for years. 2 years later, it was this high. Yeah. The worms, the bacteria, it was gone. It like it is now. It's gone again now. And last year I put 40 yards on last year. And you can see there's hardly any chips left.
Oh yeah, it's dirt.
I mean, like yeah, this is just down to the soil.
So are you gonna have to do another?
Yeah, every year I just have to keep going. And this was 3 rows of potatoes. I harvested 2 rows, and that's the only one that's left.
Oh, look at those are all potatoes.
That's all potatoes.
So when did you get these in the ground?
You're supposed to put them in by St. Patrick's Day. I didn't make it. It was about hummingbirds. Oh yeah, they come to the flowers.
I bet they do.
Oh, they're fighting.
Yeah,
oh yeah, look at those.
Yeah, they're very aggressive.
They are. We have some in our yard too, and they fight each other.
They fight each other over the food source.
So do you want to pick some of these things?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, where do you want me to start? Right here?
Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Do you want to do it, Wes?
Oh yeah, you got come on.
I'll start and you watch, and then you'll do it. Okay? It's really kind of a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
You know,
I saw your video.
And because of how I do it with the deep mulch system, you know, they're basically grown on top of the ground. I rake in the spring. I rake it back to bare ground, and actually, then I take a cobra.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is? The tool.
I don't.
The cobra looks like a cobra, so it's like.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Joe bought me one from a guy that and his dad.
It's right there, up and over.
They make them. They're $90.
Okay.
It's like a little tiny hoe is what it's like. But anyway, great tool. So I make a ditch that's about 2 inches wide and 2 inches deep. Just a little tiny ditch. And I lay my water line in that, which, you know, my drip water line. Well, see it already. Here.
Oh, wow.
The drip water line's right here.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
see, it's right here. So then it's turned off because I was watering those babies. Anyway, you just grab the plant and just kind of tug, and the plant will come up, you know, and they come up clean.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, and this brand is called Dakota Pearl, and see, they just pop right up, and then you start hunting them. And because I wear gloves, I don't like my hands dirty, but you can do this barehanded, and I do it barehanded often. But this is one potato that, you know, this was one.
Yep.
And so this is one hill.
And so you just talk to me about how you plant them, like when you start.
Well, I dig that trench. You know, I scoot back the deep compost all here. I scoot it all back, and then where there's a little groove that this fits right into it.
Okay.
And then I put the potato on the emitter. See the emitter?
Oh, yeah.
See right here?
Yep.
So every 12 inches is an emitter. So that's the next hill.
Okay.
The next potato, you know.
There you go.
And so every 12 inches, and that way it spaces it for me. And whenever I run the drip system, I know water's at the potato, right on it.
Okay.
You know, and so I don't have to give it a huge drink of water.
Right.
I just need to give it water.
Right.
And because here's the thing, potatoes in Kansas City, if they're dry, when you cut it in half, there's a hollow place in the middle and it's brown.
That happened to us.
Okay, that's lack of water. And you have to
that's what
have
happened to us.
consistent, never let the plants wilt. Don't let them wilt. If they ever wilt, you're probably gonna get it.
Okay.
Well, it also depends on when you get them in the ground.
Sure.
You know, because if you get them in really early and it's a wet spring,
Yeah.
there's enough residual water in the soil that they'll just live. You don't have to water them. You know.
That soil quality looks amazing.
It really is.
Look at all
There's
those
a little
potatoes.
tool. Can you give me that little silver tool? Scratch them.
Oh,
What is it?
Blackberries.
Yeah.
We have a
Oh
few-
yeah, we
gotta-
have blackberries.
We need to step
Yeah.
our game up. We do.
Well, I'm gonna tear a lot of those out. Tear them out. Put them someplace else. They're too invasive for me.
this is
Oh, they grow like
So,
crazy.
you know, look at that funny guy.
Look at that.
He's got like a nose.
Oh, man.
I had one the other day look like an alien.
That's awesome.
I mean, a head, ears, nose. That looked like
Really?
a little alien. I was like, oh my gosh.
So how long do you keep the potatoes? Like, what do you do so that all of these don't go bad? Because it's hard to go through that many.
Well, we store them in the basement.
Where
we
did
dry
you
them.
go?
Store them in the basement. And these are 3 different varieties that are like early, mid, late.
Okay.
That's why
Oh.
three, so these can be in the ground a little longer.
Okay.
And you know, because they bloom, you know, the flower means the potato's starting to grow. Whenever you get that flower, which you
Okay.
see the little white flower here and there, if you walk around, you'll see them.
Okay.
There's an occasional little white flower. You'll see it. I pick them off, but
Okay.
you'll see them. There's
I'm trying to pick
the
them up.
buds, like
Oh, like in there.
you know,
starting-
right down in there, there's a bud, and well, here's one way down here, but I cut them off.
Oh, I see there.
I don't
Yep.
want them to grow
Yep.
because you know when they flower, they'll get pollinated, and they'll turn into a little potato-looking thing,
Really?
about the size of a big marble. And you'll get a whole handful of those things up in the air. Well, that takes a lot of nutrition away from your root system.
Absolutely.
So I cut all these off. I don't want these things. And, you know, this is poison. The
Really?
plant, the everything on the top, you eat this, it's toxic. Yeah,
did not know
this
that.
is toxic right here. Don't eat this. And green potatoes are toxic. You've heard that, right?
No.
No, you haven't heard that? Okay.
before.
If a potato gets to the surface and gets some sunshine on it, it turns green.
Okay.
Well, it's got a toxin in it. I can never remember the name of the
Yeah.
toxin, but I mean, it's poison.
Wow.
It actually has killed people. I mean, it's
Really?
poison. If you ate a bunch of it, you could die.
That's
And the plants. So the
good to
plants
know.
are poison.
Yeah.
And, you know, the green potatoes are poison.
So do you not give then the green tops to your chickens then of this?
Nope.
Because
Nope,
that'd
I
be
don't.
bad news.
I don't even give it to the chickens.
Yep.
If it's green, I just compost it.
Okay.
And here's one right here, actually. See, this one's green.
Yes.
See, it
Sometimes you'll get that from the store.
You will. Well, see, I don't know how they keep them from not all being green. They're under fluorescent lights 24 hours a day.
Right.
How, you know,
I don't
I
know.
know they spray stuff on them, though.
Probably for coloring.
They
right?
spray enzyme blockers on them,
Interesting.
you know, so they won't ripen. But anyway, this is, so I plant, getting back to planting them.
Yes.
So I dig that little tiny trench, you know, and I put that, you know, this right in the bottom.
Yep.
I go down and I set, and I cut mine in pieces, and then I put them in sulfur.
Oh, really?
The seed potato.
Yeah.
You know, I get 5 pounds of each one. So this was 15 pounds of seed potato. Cost me $3.99 each. You know, so $12. Yeah, $12. And I have over 300 pounds now from $12 worth of seed potatoes. So then I plant them right on the emitter.
Yep.
And so far, let me get
Man, look at all
3
those, Wes.
hills. Jackson, whew, I said, Jack, come here and help me a couple years ago. I mean, it scared him so bad he burst into tears.
Did he really?
Because of all the, you see how many things are crawling?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw him when he pulled
They're-
that first plant
yeah.
out.
I used to be horrified of that.
Lots of crawly things, you know. And there's all sizes, you know, that you get. And the longer you keep them in the ground, the more you get to a point. And then all of a sudden,
Look at that guy.
all of a sudden,
Oh my
they will
gosh.
start to grow.
Oh, really?
Yes. And you know, and pill bugs. That's what all these, that's baby pill bugs.
I have really a bad problem with pill bugs with the mulch.
Yes. Yes.
And they-
So I'll show you what I use.
Yeah.
Sluggo Plus.
For pill bugs, too.
Yep.
Because it's bad.
Sluggo Plus. I mean, if it gets super bad and it's in an area that I'm not going to do this whole road,
Yeah.
it'll take a while, you know, to do this. But you can see that's 3 hills. And I don't know how much that is.
That's a lot.
It's a bit. But yeah, it's a lot. And some of them, you know, really produce a lot. Like when you first tear into them like that, you just see them, they just pop up everywhere.
Wow.
See how many's in that one? And the bigger the plant, the more potatoes you're going to get.
They just
You
keep
know, if you
coming
have a
and coming.
scrawny little baby plant, you're not going to get hardly any potato, you know.
my gosh.
But if you have a great big old plant, then you're going to get.
Wow.
So the little ones, you know, they go first.
Yep.
So you want to eat the little ones first. The bigger ones store the best.
Okay.
And we just store them in the basement on the floor down there in boxes.
And
And
they'll
dry
keep
'em.
for how long will they keep?
Christmas.
No kidding.
Yeah, easy.
I need to do potatoes
January.
next year.
I mean, some people make them last longer. You
Wow.
know, they have a higher humidity or whatever, and they can make them last longer. But anyway, that's tater harvesting, and then this is the compost, because what I do is once I do that, this is all prepared compost.
Absolutely.
So I went to you know, Suburban Lawn Care, and I got 2 cubic yards at a time in my trailer, and then I come and I bury the potatoes about 4 inches deep in compost.
Okay.
Then when it grows up through there and they get up about this high, then I come through with a wheelbarrow, because it's real easy, and I side dress them with more compost.
Wow.
So that's why all of this is prepared. You can tell that's not my soil, that's prepared compost.
Yeah.
Well, I just do this where I plant. I wish I could afford to do
it all
of
over.
this,
Right.
but I
right.
checked that out. Like $6,000.
Yeah, that's
And
easy.
I would have to do the work.
Yeah.
There's a guy though that has a machine that blows it like a reverse
I
vacuum,
think I've seen that before.
and he blows it out
Yep.
exactly how much you want
Yep.
for a fee, and you get 50 yards delivered, and he brings his thing and it loads it up and sprays it all over your garden for a fee. I don't know what all that would cost, but I can't afford that stuff.
No.
You know. So, but yeah, see, you can see that's just dirt. You
But
know.
then the compost is there.
And then this is the compost, and of course wood chips.
Yep. So will you plant potatoes here next year as well?
I have planted them. I skip, like I'll move them from here to there, and so on. But the potatoes and the tomatoes are the same family. They're both nightshade. So they, even though they're pretty much the same, but so is cantaloupe, cucumbers, watermelons. All of them are the same family, you know. So that's why they tell you to move them around. I just don't have enough because I grow too much. So Eva's always saying, grow one row of potatoes.
Right.
Then I get there and I'm like, but it's $3.99 for 5 pounds. It's not 1 pound,
right.
It's 5. That's how it comes.
Yes.
So what can you do? You gotta.
That's what you buy.
That's what you buy. That's how they
right.
sell it. It
Yes.
comes in 5. Now online,
Yep.
you can get 1 pound for $18.
Right.
Delivered to your door, but I can't afford $18
Correct.
from
Yeah.
some big fancy
Yes.
nursery thing. I mean, they're
Yes.
out there, exotic purple, yellow,
Oh, yeah.
green, all that
Yep.
stuff. You know, this is asparagus.
Well, it's
growing
asparagus,
in a bed of
Wes.
strawberries that have taken over.
Yep, we have lots of strawberries.
The
That's for
strawberries,
sure.
slugs get them, pill bugs get them.
Oh gosh.
They're terrible. But the sluggo,
Yes.
you know, it's sitting right there. I sprinkle it over before in the early spring, before these things even start to grow. I
you do that
dress the
early.
whole thing with sluggo,
Wow.
the whole patch. I just, you know, like I fertilize it, but it's sluggo, and it's iron phosphate.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's what it is. It's
Okay.
iron phosphate with spinosad, which is Captain Jack's dead bug brute.
Okay.
If you know what
I have that because
that is.
I bought that before.
Okay, well, it's
Yep.
good for caterpillars.
Okay.
But the pill bugs will eat that stuff, and it'll kill pill bugs, and it'll kill snails and slugs, which they all love strawberries,
Yeah. Oh yes.
you know. And so if you're going to do deep mulch system,
Yep.
the critters, just like you saw how
Oh,
many
yeah.
critters are there,
Yes.
it's alive. The
Yes.
soil is alive.
Yep. Which
know.
is great for decomposition.
It
but boy,
is.
when they find
But-
something they
but-
want.
Decomposing bugs come in millions,
Yes.
millions and millions. I've got them. And so,
So they'll go in the
like
spring.
in the tomato patch, like you see tinfoil at the bottom,
Yeah.
that's because when I put these in as babies, a cutworm can mow this down in one heartbeat.
Wow.
And you can see there's 70 plants here, and I didn't lose any, not one.
From foil.
I just wrapped the baby with foil, and you can see it actually blows off, and I actually wind up picking it up and throwing it away. Like I love Green Giant.
Yeah.
That tomato, that's this row. So this is 10 Green Giant.
Wow.
This one is Dr. Wychie, and some are turning, except for this one. This is a new kind of an experiment for me. This is called Alice's Dream,
Okay.
and I
That's
put
cool.
some pictures of that. It's a beautiful,
Yeah.
really beautiful
Look at that one.
tomato. I mean, I chose it because they said it was a good producer,
Okay.
and I want heirlooms that produce good. Like
Yes.
that's a good cluster down there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Look at that.
that's 5 pounds.
Wow.
You know, 4.5, 5 pounds right there, just in that first tier.
Come look at some of these, Wes.
And then the reason I planted on this is a 5-foot grid,
Okay.
5 foot, 5 foot. It's that's minimum.
Okay.
So my rows are 5 or 6 feet apart and 5 feet apart in plants, and that's just so I can get a wheelbarrow. In
So
here.
you can harvest.
And add compost and whatever, you
And
know.
probably good for
and
airflow,
harvest
too.
and airflow.
Uh-huh.
And if a plant gets sick, like this one is showing wear and tear,
Yes.
and it could actually literally die and nothing else will be affected.
Right.
Because it's
not rubbing,
all
it's-
alone. And I don't, and like I take my knife and I trim, and I'll show you, like, see, this is way too heavy.
Yeah.
So I take the center of this and put air into it by reaching down in here, and I make a hole in the middle of the plants, which if you go around and look, you'll see. But it's way too much foliage, and there's no reason for this foliage other than shade that I'm concerned with is shade. And so when it gets real heavy like this, I just make a big old hole right down the center, and I cut off anything that is not needed and it doesn't have a tomato on it. And sometimes some suckers and stuff, I cut that out of there too. But I'll just go all the way down so that when I look over, I can see the ground.
There you go.
I want like a cylinder of tomatoes growing. That way the airflow goes through it. And this is how I've been growing it for years. But this year I broke down and bought a bunch of cattle panels.
Oh, you did.
$300 for cattle panels for 10.
Gosh. Oh yeah, look at all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like $340 or something like that. Yeah, 340, 360.
Wow.
Anyway, so I have 6 cattle panels over here, and I actually way like this better. And you can see, come over here. This is so much better because, man, as far as airflow, oh my gosh.
It's night and day.
It's great. I don't trim any of this. All I do is weave it through here.
Do you fasten it to the cattle panel?
You know, when it first came up, because I put it so high, I had to. You know, I had to get it up here.
Right.
See this string?
Oh,
and then
yep.
you see this little creature right here?
Yep.
You can take them back off now that their job is done. There's a guy online, and he said, check these things out.
Yeah.
I bought 200 of them for, I don't know, $18.
Oh, wow.
And you can clip them and unclip them.
Awesome.
And so if you got something up here you want to clip to the, just, real quick.
Yeah.
And it's clipped on there, and you can unclip it. And I'm sure the sun's gonna destroy them after a year or two.
Right. Then you just spend
but so
18
what?
bucks
They're
more.
cheap.
Yep.
They're cheap. But the other thing I do is I tie them with twine.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
So I use binder twine.
Okay.
And then the flowers were volunteer. A couple of years ago, I planted a
No
few,
way.
and every year they just come back. And
What kind of flowers are those?
zinnia.
They are zinnias.
All of them, and they're just so colorful.
Do they serve a purpose other than they're beautiful?
Shade for
Okay.
some of the tomatoes, diversity.
Yep.
Bees, pollinators.
Is peppermint?
Birds love it. That's Thai basil.
Thai basil.
It's just volunteer.
Yeah.
That whole hedgerow. But you
Wes,
came at
smell
a great
that.
Time.
Smell
What's
that. Smell that, Wes.
Oh, you can eat it. Take a little bite of it. In Vietnam and Thailand,
Oh my
they
gosh.
put that in all the meals.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They heap it on your food.
They have it
all
in
the time.
pho. The
Pho.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, so this is a black tomato down
look,
here. It's
Wes.
turning. It's called carbon. And you
Oh,
see
yeah,
over
look
there,
at
that
that.
was really turning on that one.
Whoa.
Looks really pretty.
So what's the main? I mean, obviously, I know you make salsa like crazy.
Yes.
But what's the main thing you use with the tomatoes? Because you have so many.
Well, bruschetta,
Oh, sure.
which is awesome. We eat bruschetta, and we use black, for that.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually grow the black just for that.
Really?
Yeah, for bruschetta.
Because of the flavor.
There's nothing like it. Black tomatoes and bruschetta is the top for us. It's our top choice.
Okay.
I've made them with all the other colors. Black's the best.
Okay.
Red doesn't even come close.
Really?
Yellow, green's terrible. It looks weird.
Yeah.
It freaks you
It does
out.
kinda look-
It freaks you out. So the first row, the green one, green giant. I mean, look at that cluster right there.
There's
They're
just so much.
and they get. This is I know that's £1.25 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
I just know it is.
Wes,
And-
come look at how big these
And it
tomatoes
will
are.
set. This is first tier. These set
Yeah.
early, and then it'll set another tier
Right.
and another tier. See right there. There's another tier.
Oh yeah.
They keep setting because these are indeterminate. Plant gets really diseased and goes to pot. I just yank the whole plant carefully out and get it away from the rest, and then the rest of them go on. This one is called Marglobe, and you see how it's shorter?
Oh yeah.
It's the only red one I grow because
Okay.
it loves heat and humidity.
Okay.
It's not a big tomato, but it's a pretty heavy producer.
Yeah. Look at this
I
guy.
mean, look at the numbers on that particular
Yeah. Look at
plant.
that. They're all in there.
It'll have 100, before it dies, typically. It's just a heavy producer of red tomato, and since I go to the market, lots of Midwestern
That's what they
little
like.
old ladies got to have that red tomato.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what the others taste like. I can give them samples,
Yep.
and they go, that tastes great, but give me that red one. They just will not
Looks
buy.
like a prototypical.
They will not buy anything but a red tomato.
That's so
It's
funny.
just the way it is. So I grow 5 plants just for that market.
Wow.
Most people have learned red tomatoes aren't where it's at.
It's all the other stuff that you're talking
Oh
about.
man, the other stuff, the green giant is my favorite for a sandwich.
So what do you do for pest control for tomatoes?
I haven't done anything this year except hand kill a few that I found here and there, a bad bug, like a squash bug,
Yes.
because they fly.
I think I saw your video on squash bugs.
Yeah, they fly, so when I walk around in the morning at like 6:30, 7 in the morning with my coffee, I'm usually eating peas and green beans, and coffee. That's breakfast.
Yeah.
When I'm walking, and then once the tomatoes and the cucumbers are on, then I just eat those too.
That's so
You
cool.
just eat the garden.
Yes.
I think it's great. I sometimes bring a salt shaker, and there's nothing on them.
Right.
I mean, we just had 7.6 inches of rain last week.
Yeah.
So they're well watered and they're clean. You know, now birds will light on top of here and poop on them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to eat that from straight out of the garden. I'm taking that to the kitchen sink, you know. But you can see that.
Yeah.
You know. So
That's cool.
let's see. Like this one's really a beautiful. Look at that one down there. That's a beautiful tomato.
Yeah,
it's
look
just
at that.
turning. That's called Carbon.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites. It's from the black family.
Okay.
This is called Olive, and it's like a green
Oh
olive.
yeah, look at that.
I'm chasing.
Do those get red?
When they get ripe, they're turning. You can see
Oh,
they
yeah.
still stay kind of green.
Yep.
This one's a new one. I've never tried olive, but they said it's prolific. Well, it is.
Yeah, look at
I
that.
mean, you can see.
Oh my gosh, like almost
I mean,
all the way up the.
They're
yeah.
right here, and look at the number of flowers. So I have a 3-inch drill, you know, a auger that's about 12 inches long.
Yep.
So I drill about a 8 or 9 inch hole, and then if it's a really long plant, I drill the hole at an angle. I go down a little bit, and then I go sideways like that, and then I plant the plant root body over there, and I let it come out that hole like
I've been
that.
seeing videos online
And
about
all
that.
of that stuff will root. So in the fall, when I pull these up,
It's
oh my gosh, it's like you're trying to, and the root system is so huge, that's how you push the plant to more root system, better plant quality, less disease, less bug pressure, because the healthier they are, the less the bugs want them.
makes sense.
Bugs go to sick plants.
Yes.
They just do. It's what they do. And so if you have a sickly plant, if it's in the middle of some really good stuff, sometimes I'll sacrifice that plant if I see bugs homing in on it, because then they'll contaminate the rest.
Makes sense.
So I just yank it.
Yeah.
It just goes. And if I don't have a replacement, then it's just a bare spot. And my drip system waters front to back, so it gets watered anyway. You know, but yeah, bug pressure is not a thing for me. I have not had any bug pressure for a number of years. This one's called black strawberry.
Go stand up on the sidewalk up there.
Look at this.
Look at how cool that is.
It's just really neat the way they grow.
Wow.
And they just, and when they're little, they're a beautiful color. You know, they're just neat. I just like this because it's so purple. Here's another one.
Oh man. Oh, look at the one in the sun.
And see, yeah, they get red. And inside they are red and orange and yellow. They get all these different colors inside of them. But the tiers of trusses, whatever you want to call them, they just keep going. You can see. I mean, they're already setting way up here. They're here, way up here. They're already to the top.
Wow.
And this is 6 feet.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, I'm looking at 3,000 pounds here. Oh, and then the peppers, same thing. These are jalapeno, but you gotta check this one out. Look at this right here.
Gosh, your stuff is so healthy.
Look at this pepper.
Oh my gosh, is that a poblano? What is
No, this is
Banana?
a new one. No, it's I can't even say the name. It's like Anakawa.
Really?
Something like that. It's but it's that real pale color and heavy. And I just put some either I put it on Facebook or on my YouTube, but I harvested some of those and we grilled them. These, and also this one, which is no, not that one. It's further down. These are bell. Where did you start? Well, this is Big Jim. You know, hatch chili.
Yep.
No, this is the one. This is one I harvested. This is called Adj Varsky.
Okay.
And anyway, and then Shoshito.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, and these just load up. Look at how
I've grown these before.
Look how many are in there. I mean,
What do you do with these? What's the preferred
well,
method?
we grill it
Do ya?
and we scrape the seeds out and peel most of the peeling off, put lemon juice on it, salt it, and just eat them. Just eat them with a fork. Just eat them.
Unbelievably flavorful.
I mean, we eat 20 or 25 each. Even I both do it. These are some experimental ones this year. This is called
look at
Blush
these.
Tiger. And again, it's a heavy producer, and they are yellow. Like these,
Oh, yeah.
I left these just for you so that you could, you know, see how
Look
they
at
grow.
that. It's
And if you want to
beautiful.
eat it, have at it. Or that one over there that's
Wow.
even more colorful.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to dust it off because it got splashed.
Wes, do you want to try a tomato?
But these are ripe.
Wow, look at that.
And they even get a little red in the middle, like see that red blush?
Oh yeah.
But they're called Lucky Tiger is the green one. Then there's Blush Tiger and Pink Tiger.
Okay.
This one's called Blush Tiger.
You want to try it, dude? It's probably delicious.
I mean,
This
and
is
I grew
tomato.
this because Jack loves tomatoes, and
Okay.
one day Joe said you can't have dessert until you eat at least
whole bite.
10 tomatoes. came out. Oh yeah, they're juicy. They are juicy. He came out and he ate 30.
Did he really?
And he came in and Joe said, okay, you can have ice cream. He
That's
said,
so good.
I can't make it fit in
I'm
my
full.
stomach. I can't. And he said, why? And he said, well, I ate 30. And he just got to eating them. And
Yeah?
he stood here and ate 30 of these.
Oh my gosh.
And they're big.
Yes, they are.
I mean, 30 of these is a bellyful.
Well, apparently they're good, Wes. Do you approve?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I give them as samples to people, and I
Yeah.
always tell them, lean over like
That's
this when you bite it, because you're going to get it right down your stomach if you bite it. And I
almost
should
did.
have told him, but I've had little old ladies just go and just
Everywhere.
just drench their blouse, and
That
then
is
they
awesome.
kind of get mad at me. But I'm like, I'm sorry, I wasn't watching. Yeah, you can. These are so prolific. That plant.
Oh, look, over there, Wes.
Well, that one's probably, see the redder, and then just
The one at the
just
bottom.
brush them off. Those top ones.
This one?
Yeah, those. Yeah, those top two. They're real more red. They'll be better.
Dust it off there.
You want one, Shirley?
Yeah, I do want to try one.
This
one here?
one's better. The others are not quite as ripe, and they're just starting. So we've had a few. We've just eaten a few. This one's pink, and it's not even there yet. This one's pink. This one's pink, and then this
Oh,
one.
man.
Now this one's called Lucky Tiger, and here's its problem, and it's showing up right here. That rain makes it split.
Burst.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's not ready at all. This is not even
No.
close. But that, 7.5 inches is ridiculous.
It was an
It's
insane
ridiculous.
amount.
So that's its problem. But yeah, this is.
Chew. It's so good.
The flavor of that is just unbelievable.
If you come over here, walk through here, you can get a good view.
Here, let me go around.
Yeah, you can walk right through there. This one is the Adjawarski, and they're heavy.
Wow.
And then this is that other one that I can't remember the name of it.
Man, they're big.
They're huge. Wow. They're just a huge pepper.
Okay, so talk me through the fertilizing again. Do you fertilize all of this universally?
At the point of planting, when the transplants go in,
Yes.
I fertilize around them with chicken manure, pretty heavy. I mean, I don't skimp.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot there. I will put 75 pounds on this patch a year.
What? Really?
A year, every year. And because the wood chips tend to rob a lot of your nitrogen, but you never till, so if you don't till, the stuff that you throw on the ground, a lot of the pill bugs love chicken manure. They come and eat it all up. Well, they turn into fertilizer at some point because they have a lifespan, which then, and then when they poop, that chicken manure becomes composted, basically chicken manure, because they're decomposing bugs.
Right.
So it just makes the soil live.
And it's universal for all plants. Like you just
Everything.
put it on everything.
Well, the only thing that is a little bit different is the blueberries. The
'Cause you need an
blueberries,
acidic soil.
they need acid soil. But everything else, I just pour the food to it. I mean, I have no fear of putting tons and tons of chicken manure on everything. I mean, it's so thick that it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a pellet every square inch.
Really?
One pellet at least every square inch, almost touching. And whenever I plant potatoes, I'll just lace bone meal in there. Man, I will pour bone meal. I get 25-pound bag of bone meal, and I'll put 25 pounds in those 3 rows.
Really?
Yeah, you can't hurt anything. It's just bones.
That's my next thing.
It's
is
just
I need to
bones.
I need to get better at fertilizing. I've never been good at it.
Well, blood meal is pure nitrogen, and it will shoot your plants into all green, and you'll get no flower. So I use blood meal sparingly, but I use blood meal because it's organic. And it used to be cheap.
Okay.
Not anymore. So I'm doing chicken manure more now, and rabbit manure. There's a guy that's got a bunch of rabbits. Rabbit manure is awesome. If you know people with rabbits, it will not burn your plant.
Really?
It won't. Something about the way the rabbit processes it, you can plant a handful and put a baby plant on top of a handful of rabbit manure. It won't burn. It won't do anything. It'll just grow. Rabbit manure is the best if you can get buckets and buckets of it. Here's something that I want to show you.
Yep.
Can you see that tiny bug right there?
Mm-hmm.
You see that little red bug?
Yeah,
He's
I see
hiding
it.
from it. Wes,
He's on
you
the
can
back
see him.
end.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see it.
Okay.
Oh, I see it. I
yeah,
see
you
it.
see him?
Yep.
Okay. Watch what you got to do. You got to put your hand here and knock him into your hand. This is an asparagus beetle.
Okay.
That little guy right there.
Yeah.
There he's playing dead, but that's an asparagus beetle. And he is awful. He is one terrible bug. He's trying to hang on to me. Little red and white guy.
Yeah.
And looks innocuous. No, he's not. He lays eggs, and the little tiny black eggs all over your asparagus. So whenever you go to eat asparagus, there's all these little tiny black eggs all over it.
Wow.
Have a bite. Just that's the other thing I eat is I just eat this. Anyway, I eat asparagus like this all the time, but you got to control that little guy. And that's how you get him. You see him and put your hand under him.
Yep.
And he'll fall. He jumps off. You disturb him and he jumps on the ground and you can't find him.
So you got to go under.
Yep. You put your hand there.
Oh, I see,
These are
You see another one with
zucchini.
Okay.
Hi. Zucchini. Those are
Yeah, that's it.
true. All my neighbors know me.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
This was 3 plants last year.
What is that?
Red raspberries.
Those are raspberries.
Red raspberries. There's a few.
See if you can get one. Oh, look,
Oh my
Wes.
gosh, thank you.
There's a few. You can. They're coming. See the red raspberry cycle.
Oh,
This is
So
this
good.
year's product coming.
Okay.
Okay, so this cane was not here, and it grew out,
Okay.
and it started its flowers. Okay, so that's the crop. However, it didn't freeze the old canes last year, and I left them. Well,
They're
they
fruiting
had-
again.
They had
Uh-oh.
red raspberries immediately. Like,
Wow, that's wild.
yeah, they were here. Oh, here you go. Here's a few.
Wow.
These aren't quite as tasty as those other ones are. But last year's canes didn't die. And so we had red raspberries we've had them for weeks and weeks
Yeah, because
now.
usually it's like blackberries, right? The canes cycle
right.
years.
That's right. So you're not supposed to be getting these red raspberries yet because it's not time.
Right.
They're coming. Yeah, there's very few. The kids have picked most of them. But blackberries, gosh, we have had some of the biggest blackberries.
Our black. So you
yeah,
have
butternut
so.
squash?
That's zucchini, I think.
Yeah, those are yellow squash. The birds have really found them.
Yeah, we have blackberries. But yours way more. Obviously, like everything else. Look at those.
And you know
Wes.
how to pick them. You kind of, there you go.
Look
but
at
see,
that
the
one,
birds
Wes.
have already pecked it.
Yeah,
You know, and when the birds do that, I eat the good part and throw the rest away if you want it. Just eat the good part.
yeah, you love
Toss the butt. But yeah, these are
That's so
natchez,
good.
I think is what they're
I
called.
think I have the same.
And they're thornless.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
These look exactly like
produce-
ours. Do you trim these every year?
yes.
Because they'll just go
Yes.
like
This
crazy.
is, see the different color of wood? This is last year wood. This is grown this year
Right.
from scratch. And I've
Primocane.
already cut it off.
Primocane floricane, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
This is last year. So this is where your fruit comes, is last year's cane.
Yep.
But I don't want them here because they're in my way. But this is a new experiment to try to battle the bugs.
Okay.
Vertical squash.
Okay.
People online, a bunch of people are like, you grow it vertical, you can control the bugs.
I've
Well,
seen that.
I'm trying, and
Is it working?
they're still alive,
They're still-
but we haven't picked the squash.
Okay.
And usually what happens in Kansas City, they come up, they bloom, you pick a handful of squash, and the plants are dead. That's just the cycle. And
And
everybody's
this is
like,
summer squash.
summer squash.
Okay.
That's correct.
Because we tried butternut squash this year.
Well, same thing though. The bugs will get it too.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's grown. I planted 4
I
plants.
saw your video of those,
kill
and
it.
they're.
Oh,
So here's how to find the bugs.
Okay.
Okay. Take your garden hose out there, anytime, but afternoon. Just start spraying the plants,
Okay.
the whole plants. Just start spraying them down.
Yep.
The bugs will come to the top of the leaves because they think they're going to drown, and then you pick them up and throw them in soapy water.
really?
That's the best way to get rid of them. You can get rid
Okay.
of dozens in
Really?
a minute.
Really?
Yes, because they're all down in there, and they're hiding. And I even do it over here. I do it here too, because the squash bug, they like watermelon and
Yeah.
they like cantaloupe.
Ah.
And so same thing, when they're small plants, I will come through with the wand and I spray them down.
Yep.
I spray about 6 feet, and then I stand there and watch, and then I'll see movement. And if there's a squash bug, they'll come up to the top to try to get away because they think they're going to drown. And then I just pick them up and throw them in a bucket. I have these buckets of ice cream buckets. I put some soapy
Right over
water
there.
in them, and just a tablespoon of water and a half gallon,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, soap. and I use Dawn just because that's what we have.
Yep.
Bucket, and they kind of go like this, and then they just stop.
Done.
You know. But they get in here too. The squash bugs get in. They carry wilt disease. They chew on your plants. They cause havoc.
Yeah.
They will take out your whole crop, and you'll come out, and all of a sudden, I've been to people's houses where they just lost their entire tomato crop because they had 8 plants planted in about 6 square feet.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
overloaded, and then they were so crowded, and they had a lot of rain, and they fertilized them, and they were really big and had big tomatoes and flowers, and all of a sudden they all wilted. All of them died in one day. I mean, died.
So crazy.
And it's a bacterial wilt, and it hits them. Well, the squash bug carries it. So when he's chomping around on your plants, so does the cucumber beetle.
Bacteria.
There's 2 kinds of cucumber beetle. I'm sure you're aware. There's striped and the spotted.
Yep.
Well, both of them. So I have this light that comes on at night up here, and it kills a lot of. You can see bugs in there dead. Kills a lot. But every night I come out with a flashlight, and I do.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
A really strong flashlight.
Yeah.
That's like really strong, and I walk along and I find the cucumber beetles, and I just grab them and kill them.
Wow.
Because whenever they're lit up, they can't see you.
Oh,
and,
sure.
And so but this is their damage. This is them.
Really?
They're doing this. That's cucumber damage.
And these are all cucumbers.
Mm-hmm.
What
Now
kind of cucumbers do you
This from this post over. These are from India, and these are a really long one that I can't remember the technical name, but they just call them snake melons.
And you like growing vertically with cucumbers?
Yes, absolutely. These will get 5 feet long.
Wow.
Here's a baby that just set.
Oh, yeah,
see how
yeah,
big
yeah,
it is
yeah.
already, and they're a later deal. You don't get these early, but this is muncher,
Okay.
and it's muncher all the way down to I think to like about right here, and then these are Beat Alpha, which are from Israel,
Okay.
and this is what they look like. I saved a couple of these,
Oh, look at that.
and you can just eat them up like that. I mean, you don't have to.
Take a bite.
You don't have to.
Oh, they're hairy.
I mean, it's better with salt. I sterilized my blade just so that I could do this, but if we had a salt shaker, it'd be better.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
But
Try it, Wes.
that's right. Do you like cucumbers?
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
They're delicious.
Mm.
They're almost sweet.
Oh, heck yeah.
They're not bitter. And I'll tell you a funny story about cucumbers. We had an engagement party. We made 2 gallons of margarita out of that.
Really?
We juiced them,
Yeah.
and people were drinking over a half a gallon of margarita with a lot of tequila.
They were in trouble.
And the next day, nothing, no hangover, nothing. The cucumber offset the whole thing, and they all called her and said, I don't know what your parents did, but
No
I
way.
drank so much I was staggering drunk on the way home, but the next day I had no hangover. It was cucumber juice. The cucumbers give you all kinds of nutrition that are amazing, and so no hangover. So if you want to make some cucumber margaritas, they're
That's
they're
the way
awesome.
to go.
They're
We gotta tell
awesome.
Mom.
Yeah, they're great.
She's a fan of tequila.
But these are Japanese, because I love the long green, also not bitter. And so these are Japanese, and then Armenian,
Yep.
and then Indian.
Okay.
From India. These are from Israel. I like to get cucumbers from all varieties of the
Yep.
world, and they seem to have different resistances to different things, but all of them are susceptible to the dreaded cucumber beetle.
This is crazy, isn't
oh my
it?
gosh, the cucumber beetles is terrible.
Wow.
It eats the fruit, it eats the leaves, it eats the plants. This is them too. You see this damage?
Yep.
This may die, actually. You see what they've done here? See,
Yep.
actually, they probably have killed this plant.
It's probably inside of
In
it.
a couple of days, it'll probably die. You know, so
Wow.
sometimes these 2 died. They ate those and died, and I had some in pots growing, so I put them back in here. Because it's just the bug got it,
Right.
you know. So if you can put it right back in, since my water system is based
There.
on there,
Yep.
might as well get something back in the ground.
So talk about your water system.
Off of a header line
Okay.
with these little valves, and you can turn them off. So since I don't have anything here, I don't use that one, and so my header line is spaced on different spacing, and each
Okay.
year I change it a little bit, and I keep the header line, and I just add more. You can't pull one of those out. If you pull it out, there's a hole.
Right.
So I just leave them in there, and they're $2 a piece or whatever. And after I get so many in there that there's like 10 that aren't being used.
Yeah.
Then I throw away the header line and I make a new header line for that year. But I plant on the system. So I build the system first, then I plant. I don't plant and then build the system.
Because then you got to mess with all the stuff.
Right. So the system, like the potatoes, the emitter is every foot. Every foot gets the potato. You know, same way with the watermelons and the cantaloupes. Every foot there's an emitter. I get one seed.
And you plant from seed in the ground.
One seed in the ground. Yep.
Wow.
And those are from Vietnam. That watermelon.
Really?
You know, it's the one that's on my pages that have super thin rind, like a 1/4 of an inch rind.
Wow.
I don't know if you've ever seen that on my page, but
I haven't seen that.
I have pictures and stuff. But yeah, 1/4 inch rind. It's so small. It's kind of weird. It's so small that it's 1/3 of a dime.
Really?
Is the rind of the watermelon.
You can almost eat. I mean, you can't.
You can, well, and the best part is right next to that rind.
Right.
I mean, you can take a spoon and just literally it's almost like a cantaloupe. It's as thin as a cantaloupe.
Really?
Yeah. It's real thin.
Because usually the ones you get from the store,
They're huge, so they can ship them.
Correct.
That's the whole
you
deal.
puncture that thing. It's toast.
You just heard it. You heard it picking it. You can, yeah.
All right.
Well, and then this is dill, which I love dill.
Yep.
So we replant dill
And this
several
gets
times a
huge,
year.
isn't it?
It can.
Yeah.
That's it over there too.
Oh, yeah.
That's all volunteer dill.
Oh, wow.
And then this is more peppers, and this rain, you can see, has almost killed this one. They don't like it. And these are hot peppers. Those
they
are
want
all
heat.
Cold. The hot peppers don't like the rain, and so as you can see, they were beautiful till that rain hit. Now then, that's sick. That's sick.
Wow.
This one's really sick. That one's sick. You can actually see all the fungus all over the top of it. It's got black leaves. Black spot. You know, it's too much water, and I can't unwater it.
Right.
You know, now if you're in a greenhouse, you can control your water,
Right.
so you can win that battle. But here, I can't. You know, but these are hot peppers. You know, so
What kind of hot peppers?
These are Hatch chili. If you look
Okay.
down here, you'll see they're the long green chili. You know, the Hatch chili.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see them.
Oh, wow. Look at those guys.
And they get where they're almost 1/4 of a pound
Okay.
each. This is just Swiss chard.
Yeah.
That's cayenne.
I love cayenne. I'm growing some
Here you
cayenne.
go.
Oh,
You
look
want
at
this guy?
that. What is that?
Green June bug.
I hate June bugs.
Green June bug.
I don't want to have a June bug.
I do
They
not
will fly.
I don't
So
like June
I kind of give them a little smash, and then they can't fly away. Chickens love them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Take
they
this over and give it to the chickens. Oh, you're afraid? Here.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
No,
Look.
it's okay. Hold your hand out flat, and I'll just slide it onto your hand
I
like that.
really don't like this. I
You'll be
really don't
brave.
like
You'll be
this.
brave. It's okay.
I'm fine. I'm
Okay, now
fine.
just go over there
I'm
and-
fine.
and
I'm fine.
Drop it in a hole in the top.
Completely fine.
Just drop it in there. You're brave.
Completely
You're brave.
fine.
I love it.
See, these are dying. Here's another
Thai?
weird things that happens. These are fish peppers, and
Okay.
they're white and green variegated.
Okay.
I only planted 2, and this one did not come true. Look at what it did. That is not fish
Oh.
pepper. This is supposed to be shaped about like a Fresno, if you know what
I
that
know
is.
Fresno. Well,
Oh, it's no problem. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. Anyway, they did not like this 7 inches of rain.
Wow.
They're dying. Here, try.
oh
You ever ate a green bean?
oh yeah.
I mean, I love green beans. These
I
are
love them fresh, man.
these are a 1/3 heat habanero, and they
wow.
were beautiful. And there's tons. Look down in here at how many there is.
Gosh, look.
There's so many. This produces. This is the only thing that I plant that's a hybrid. This is a hybrid jalapeno, but it's a 1/3 heat, and it turns red, and it puts out one plant. No joke, will grow 600 peppers.
What?
5-gallon bucketfuls per plant.
What
Is
do
not.
you do with those? Do you put that in
I took
salsa?
them to them. There was a lady. I called her the hot lady.
Uh-huh.
I mean, she loved these things. She could eat them like popcorn, and she would come to the market and buy these things from me. She
Really?
loved them. We use them for yellow tomato salsa.
Yep.
That's what it's for. We take yellow
Okay.
tomatoes and the beautiful red
Uh-huh.
habanero and white balsamic vinegar and onion that we wash to get the bitter out. Dice it, wash it, and make salsa.
Oh gosh.
Love it. Those are jalapeno.
Okay.
And then this is okra over here.
Oh,
and
this
I
is
got it in
okra.
super late. But okra loves heat, so you can't. And last year this was out of the garden. So you see that black stuff?
Yes.
Last year that black stuff was here.
Oh.
So this is the first time anything's ever been grown in this stuff, and
Okay.
it's stapled down. So I unstapled this side and I flipped it over and
Yes.
I stapled it down over there so I can mow,
Yep.
and it kills the next row.
Yep.
So when I started, this was 100 feet.
Okay.
Now it's like 130.
Right.
I'm not
And you
sure.
just every year.
Because, there's a point where I have to stop, but I mean, I'll run out of road. I'll run out of yard.
Yes.
But to gain more, one year I didn't have any place to put my watermelons.
Uh-huh.
I ran out of places to put watermelon. And Joe was living here, and he said, how about if we flip this over and we'll just put it right there? And I said, you know what, let's do it. So
Okay.
that's what we did, and it worked so great. So like 4 years ago, it was here, and you can see the difference. Look at this. Jordan.
Really?
Do you see this?
Yes.
And you see this is weaker?
Yes.
And these are stronger. This was the garden once upon a time. So this is newer wood chip.
And the longer
The
wood chips are
longer
on,
it goes, the
better it gets.
healthier it gets.
Wild.
And you never till it.
Phenomenal.
Don't till it ever.
Yeah.
And compost, that's the black
Yep.
you see. But I just can't afford to put compost wholesale across the whole thing.
Yeah.
But like, you got to taste this. This is cilantro, but bite the stem of it. It's delicious. I mean, it's not anything like the store.
It's almost effervescent.
It's,
Like,
yeah, it's just, wow. I'm telling you.
and I'm a big fan of cilantro.
Cilantro is amazing. Have you done cilantro pesto?
Never.
Oh my gosh,
It's unbelievable.
Jared, can't believe it. Cilantro pesto. We got some book that had it in there, and I was thinking it's just going to be too pesto.
Right.
Way over the top. Nope, you don't even know it's pesto.
Olive oil.
We actually made it. Well, you use nuts too, and then Parmesan cheese.
Yep.
We made it and came over, and I said, you got to try something. I said, I know you know what it is, but you won't know what's in it. And he's going, some kind of pesto. And he was naming all kinds of things. Never named cilantro. It does not taste like cilantro. He couldn't. He's a connoisseur, man.
Oh, yeah,
he's
a
a cook.
chef,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, and he knows. And he's like, I have no idea. He says parsley. He named like 6 things.
Yeah.
Spinach, chard. He was naming all these greens and different things. And I said, that's all cilantro. 6 cups of cilantro leaves.
Really?
And he was like, no way. And I said,
Who
it's
would've thought?
bizarre.
You would have thought it'd be way overpowering. in
Yes,
flavor.
you would think that the cilantro would just
Right.
and it's amazing. It just tastes, and the thing is, cilantro, I have a video where I picked cilantro at 9 below zero. Right here,
Really?
last year.
Really?
9 below zero, I came out and I scooped a foot of snow apart and picked fresh cilantro that was bright green, and we put
Because
it
it
on our
dies
food.
in the heat. Is that
The
right?
heat kills, well,
Yeah.
bolts. It bolts
It
and
bolts,
dies.
'cause that's
Goes
happened
to
to me
seed.
before. Yeah.
Goes to seed.
Yeah.
But if you plant it in the fall, it will go all winter and it will not die.
Unbelievable.
All winter. And last year, I have a video on my YouTube where I come
Really?
out here and I walk through the snow, and
Yeah.
it's about a foot deep. And I come over here and I'm filming myself, so it's terrible. But I scrape all the snow back, and there it is, down underneath there. There's
Wow.
cilantro, bright green, and the snow's this
Yeah.
deep, and it's just growing so beautiful down there. And I picked all these leaves and took it in and put it on our enchiladas.
So you're constantly replanting things.
Kind
throughout the year.
of. I mean, I don't plant in the dead of the winter,
Okay.
but like garlic. See, garlic was over here, and it's all gone. But the garlic got harvested a month ago.
Okay.
And
And
this
it's
was-
done.
and it's done for the year. So that's what that
yeah,
row
look at
is.
all
This
that.
is squash, because squash dies. So these are baby squash,
Okay.
and then that's sweet potato. And again, here's the drip
Oh,
system.
sweet potato.
So the drip system, helped me determine how to plant. It was actually
Right.
these two. What I did is well, there you go. Can you see the chicken manure?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
see how
absolutely.
heavy?
Yeah.
I mean, I just put that on there because I just planted this. That's how I do it. I mean, I put it on there. I'm not lightweight, and I put it all up and down. This probably had 15 pounds put on it.
And you don't have to water it in over top.
Nope.
It just kind of works its
Well,
way.
it'll rain in.
Yeah.
It'll dissolve and rain in.
Okay.
And the drip system is on this one. I'm going to run these two, like that. I'm going to run both of those.
Yep.
Because the sweet potatoes like water. Well, squash do too, but I mean the sweet potatoes need a little bit more,
When
So,
do you harvest sweet potato?
the fall, even after frost.
Okay.
And my biggest sweet potato weighed 24 and a half pounds.
Oh,
One
my
potato,
gosh.
size of a basketball, It was planted on top of a raccoon grave 2 years ago. From before, I buried a raccoon in the garden back there where I showed you, and then I was digging to put in my sweet potatoes, and raccoon hair started coming out of the ground. So I was like, oh yeah, that's for Mr. Raccoon's buried right there. And I thought, put a potato in there. So I just put a little plant, you know, right on top of this raccoon that's been there for 2 years. And in the fall, that plant went crazy. It took over the whole yard, and I was like, man, that thing's insane. I think I had 6 plants. Well, when I went to pull it, I couldn't pull it. I went and got a shovel, and I started digging around, and I started realizing it was this big. And I'm like, this is 1 potato? So I had to dig a hole that you could have set a 55-gallon drum in. To get that half of it that deep. I mean, this thing was this deep and this big around, and it basically just devoured the raccoon. Whatever.
Was it edible or was it not
just
good?
to put perfect.
It
was just a huge, massive potato. Well, I picked these onions, and they're terrible. This is awful.
They're bad? What do you mean?
Yeah, they're tiny.
Oh, okay.
These are so small.
It tastes good though, still?
Oh, they taste fine. They're just a pain because they're small, you know. But I planted way too many this year. Okay. And then the weather got way hot.
Yeah.
And I use them to, you know, keep bugs away from other stuff.
Okay.
You know, so like I plant the sets.
Yes.
And plants, both.
Oh.
Plants. So you can buy plants.
Okay.
You know, some people call them slips.
Okay.
But it's a little baby plant with the green and everything.
Oh,
they
really?
look like green onions almost, only they're kind of dried up and they've got a little bit of a root.
I've seen that, yep.
And they're in bundles.
Yes.
And Kansas City Community Gardens sells a great one that's called Candy.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, one year I grew Candy the first year, and I fertilized heavy with mulch and everything, and I got 1.5 pounders. I mean, these things were, they were literally this big, onions. They were amazing. And you could just eat them like an apple. They were not hot. Wow. They were sweet. Gave you onion breath. But you could eat them. Yeah. I mean, they were that kind of onion. These are too hot. They're spicy.
They're spicy.
Because they didn't get any, I got them in really late. This year's all messed up. But walk through here. And, you know, look at this one. This is a volunteer. I did not plant that. That's Swiss chard.
Really? Oh, look at your bug on there. Look at that guy.
Yeah. Yep. He's hiding out. That's the green June bug.
Oh.
Yep.
Man.
That's the green June. These are massive. I mean, for chard, that's
giant.
And I've had even bigger than that. Yeah. They actually, you could eat it.
They're not wilting or anything.
Yeah. You could eat it. But it's a volunteer from seed from last year. Wow. I didn't plant it. It just came up.
So what all do you? Well, yeah. Well, look.
Yeah. See. Oh, yeah, you can pick. Wes, you want to? I don't want to pick these. Pull them out of the ground. Just go through like this. And just do like this and pick these. Wow. Oh, yeah. And then shake them off and lay them over there. That's how I pick onions. Just go through there and just grab them by their little heads, and they come. See, the root falls off when they're mature. Yeah. The root completely disintegrates. But they're so tiny.
Yeah, they are small.
You know, so all this would be good. It'd be like for soup.
Look at that cricket.
Okay.
You know, like, or stew,
Yep.
you know, that kind of thing.
Yep.
But who wants to slice that and put it on a, you know,
right.
Too little.
So what will you end up doing with those?
I take them, I'll dry them and then take them to the market.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'll put them in a little pile of, you know, 8 for $1.
Right.
You know, I'll get rid of them. Yep. This is a volunteer okra. I didn't plant it, and it has 1 okra on it. It's finally right here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's, you know, okra will come back true from seed. Okay. This is fennel. You ever tasted fennel?
Oh yeah, black licorice, right?
Yeah, taste it. It's bizarre.
It's
Here, try it. Got a little taste.
It's actually really good.
I like it. I actually eat it too. It gives you good
Whoa.
breath. And it's got a great flavor.
Really sweet.
Strong.
And then this is here. I want to do this. Hold your hands out like this.
Nah, I don't judge.
It's
No. It's just a plant.
Oh. Okay.
I'm just gonna make your hand now. Smell your hand.
Oh. What is that there?
Oregano.
Oh
it's just crazy what it does to your. Oh man.
We actually have.
But you smell. Put that. Oh man. This oregano. See. The thing is, you got to get the one. There's 100.
I think we have that variety.
So you need to get the one that tastes the best, because some of the dill I had was awful.
Really?
Terrible dill. I mean, it was just not even like dill at all.
Yeah.
And then I've had mint that people say, try my mint, and I don't even know what it is. But
And so you cut it down.
I cut it down.
Okay.
It was falling all over, and it was, it was crazy. I'm sure I've got pictures of something. But this was a 1 gallon size pot last year.
Unreal.
This is 1 year old.
Wow.
And it's out of control. It's just, so I will cut this down, but see the bees in it? The bees get in here, flies get in here.
Yep.
They love this flower. So this really brings pollinators to me. I mean,
yes,
thousands.
Yep.
When I walk out in the morning, this is going, zzz,
it's just
I
full.
hear them. 20 feet away, I can
Wow.
hear the bees on this plant. They love
which
this
is
plant.
fantastic for your garden.
Yeah, so that's why I just leave it. I mean, it's messy and whatever, but you can't hurt it.
Right.
You can't kill it. You could chop it plumb to the ground. I mean,
Come
where
back.
there wasn't even a trace of it, and it would all come back fresh and new.
Wow.
I mean, it just is in this system anyway. I mean, I don't know about like if you had a regular garden where you till and everything, but it's invasive. So this year I will be controlling this.
Okay.
Just like mint.
Yes.
Next year it will be 3 times as big.
Yeah, and it takes over your whole thing.
Right, takes over everything. So, because it was a 1 gallon pot last year, which I have over there, and if you wanted it, I saved one.
Okay. What do you have here on your? What is this? Kale?
That's Captain Jack's. That's kale.
It is.
That's
Captain
stupid
Jack's.
worms.
Yes.
Here's another thing. This was the size of a quarter.
Okay.
That's
What is
chive.
that? Those are chive. Oh, okay.
That's chive. And the plant was about that big around,
Really?
with about 8 little sprigs. Not this spring, but last spring. So this is like a year and a half old, and it's that big.
Wow.
And that's all, chive. I haven't even picked it. I asked Eva if she wants it. She didn't know what to do with it, really, so we don't really use it. This is all volunteer dill, and the seed will come out, and you can use the seed for stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
So I just let it grow.
Wow.
Just let it grow.
That is awesome. So how did you go about learning all this? Like, obviously you grew up.
Lots of videos, but my love for it, whenever I was 8 years old, my mom and dad said, told us kids, we're going to have a big garden this year, and if you guys will work, you can have all the profit from the garden. And we'll work. Everybody's going to work all summer, and they had their jobs and stuff, and we had the ranch and the farm. And they said, but the 3.5 acre garden, this is a 1/4 of an acre. Yeah, maybe a 1/4 of an acre. So, I mean, it was big, and 600 tomato plants, probably 500 pepper plants.
So where did you sell?
So, our little hometown of Lordsburg is, we trucked it in. We took it in. We took a truckload of watermelons, and one of them weighed 50 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
50-pound watermelon. We sold it, and one that weighed 10 for a penny a pound. 50 cents for a 50-pound watermelon.
Yeah.
This little Mexican lady that had about 14 kids paid us 50 cents for that watermelon. She couldn't carry it. She was pregnant. She couldn't carry it. It was, it was this big, 50-pound watermelon. And a kid walking down the street gave us a dime for a 10-pound watermelon. And that's all we sold, The rest, I mean, hogs ate them,
Sure.
We ate them till they were running
You
out of
grew
our
up on a
ears.
farm.
A farm ranch. We had 12,000 acres. And the farm was 160 acres.
12,000.
12,000, yeah.
So what were you raising on livestock?
Yeah, it was rain, but there's no rain there. 2 to 4 inches a year is annual rainfall. So
Mexico.
it's right on the Mexico border, way down in New Mexico on the Mexico border. Mexico is right over there. You can see the mountains. I mean, it's just about 40 miles to the border.
Wow.
And we had people walk up all the time, but they came to work, and we paid them $2 a day and room and board. And they would work from sunrise to sunset. And in the summertime, that's like an 18-hour, 17-hour day. And they would work for $2 a day and hard. I mean, busy.
Yeah.
And they would chop weeds. They would chop for the farmers. They would, weed the fields with hose. They would harvest, whatever, $2. So when my brother and I were old enough, about your age, we started chopping weeds, and they paid us $4 a day.
You were coming up, putting them up.
Oh, we had a little house that they lived in, and they had a wood stove, and they cooked their own food. And we gave them all the ingredients and stuff, and they cooked. But we also had them eat at our table. He lived with us 9 months, and he earned like $6,000 because he worked for a cotton gin, and he worked for some different farmers. And this is in like 1970. Well, $6,000 in 1970 was a
that's a lot of money. Absolutely.
Especially for a single man, you know. And he went back to Mexico. Well, the next time we saw him, I was in high school. It was about 5 years later. He came driving a T-Bird with a TV in the dash in like 1971.
He made some good $6,000. Got him a lot down there.
Yes, and he wound up. What he wound up doing was buying the papers from a guy that was a military guy that died, and he bought the guy's papers and assumed his identity, and used those papers to come into the United States legally. Went into California and worked at a cannery, and became the top guy in a cannery until he went deaf because of the noise. Because in those days they didn't. Just crashing noises. He was the top guy until he lost his ear. They fired him because he couldn't hear anymore. He couldn't hear the machine when it broke down. So he was messing up, and they fired him, and they caused it. But you know,
they didn't. None of the laws.
No.
Everything
at different times. So anyway, he came through, and he was. We got off the school bus, and I was in high school. There was this T-Bird parked in the with a custom paint job that they had put some kind of filigreed silk or something on it, and then spray painted that, and then they took that away,
like a stencil
and they
almost.
stenciled it, and it was a baby blue with this white stenciling of this beautiful filigree stuff all over it, and with leather seats, custom seats with a TV in the screen. I'd never seen a TV in the screen. We were mesmerized. Oh, this stuff is the bomb. That's 5 years old.
Really?
That is.
So where do you get that at?
I bought my first roll online, and I put it all the way around the garden, and that's what determined my garden was 50 by 100. Okay. That was the first thing I ever did, was I encircled the garden, and I bought a 330-foot roll, and I was like, okay, 330 feet, 100, 150, 50, that's 300, and I'll make sure I make it. So that's what I ringed it with 5 years ago, and it's never been moved, and it's stapled down with these staples. The staples are still there. They're still the same staple right there.
It's in great shape.
5 years, and it still has a minimal holes in it.
Unbelievable.
But when I mow the grass, I put my wheel on top of this, and I mow right there. I never weed eat. I have no grass going in the garden. It invades. Yes. Well, this will stop anything.
Wow.
I mean, it's incredible, and it lasts and lasts and lasts, and it cost me $57.
Really?
And so $57 for 5 years of no. And this is horrible grass. You know, this is not.
Yeah, I know this stuff.
This is junk stuff, man. This is yard grass, you know. That's probably Bermuda right there. You see?
It is Bermuda.
Stuff, This stuff will go.
Yes, it will.
It'll go right in your garden. And every year I was out here digging and digging and digging on all sides, and because they invading grass. And I was like, there's got to be a better way. Well,
sure
that
enough,
black stuff, man, it has just stopped it. So now I have it, like, I'm going to put it around the peonies, and I put it around those peonies out there.
Yep.
It's all the way around all of those. I'm going to put it around those other things too.
So
beautiful.
What's the goal for this? I mean, is it like self-sustainability, or is it just I like it?
If I could have animals, like more animals, yes. So I'm going to fence it. I'm just gonna kind of have to. People have been coming in here and picking the garden, and people have stopped and said, "Hey, I saw somebody picking your garden last night," and you know, and I don't mind if somebody picks a tomato.
Right. When you're coming,
I would give it to them if they want it, but they don't do that.
Basketfuls.
Yes, and they ruin stuff because they don't know what they're doing, Right. So like last year, somebody picked a watermelon that was green, and they took it out and busted it on the sidewalk and tried to eat it, but it was green, so they just walked off. And they just left it laying on the sidewalk.
Oh, that's...
and so it's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
It's like a slap in the face kind of a thing,
Absolutely.
And then people, I've had somebody came and picked my squash one night. Yeah, all of it. not just a squash. They picked the squash. And I know people have picked tomatoes because you kind of know where they're at, even though I have a lot of plants twice a day, 3 times a day.
You know exactly
when one's turning, I watch it,
yes,
and then I pick it. Well, I'd come out and it's gone. Well, there's nothing out here that's going to get it. You know, it's a person. So now I'm looking into putting in a fence, a 6-foot fence.
Okay.
And I'm even thinking about going all the way across here.
Yeah.
Which, see, this is 200 by 200.
Okay.
So,
Including yours?
Yeah, both of this is 4 lots.
Okay.
And it's 205 feet this way, something like that, 210. And they're 50-foot lots, and there's 4 of them, and then the easement.
Yes.
You know, so it's a little over 200. It's an acre. Eat this, man. Just eat that right there. I'm telling you, you'll love it. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
Kids love these. Yeah, pull the little bloom off the end of it, and but yeah, they're sugar snap peas. You know.
Oh yeah.
And
Fresh, so fresh and sweet.
they're great. So the cucumbers, the peas, the beans. I mean, I just eat. You know.
Well, you're probably so healthy. Imagine all the minerals and vitamins you're getting from just being out here each day.
And you know what?
Oh,
Whenever
yeah.
you eat a handful of this, these have protein. Did you know that?
I'm not.
Peas have
protein. I've heard of that before.
Peas have protein. Here's another odd thing. Eat this.
The whole thing.
Yep. Yep, the whole thing. Very strange, isn't it?
It almost tastes like
Tastes like peas.
It does, but there's a certain lettuce that I've grown that just tastes like.
It has a green taste. But high-end restaurants sell pea tendril.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
So this little thing right here, you know, somebody comes and picks these little things off, and they put a little pile on your salad and charges $6.50 for this or something. You know,
That's what,
you can eat it. You know, but
So Kelly, talk to us about your YouTube channel. Where can people find your channel?
Well, it's just my name, Kelly Mahan.
Kelly Mahan on YouTube.
I just put it on there as Kelly Mahan.
Okay.
I have people come to garden tours if they will for the market, total strangers.
Really?
I've met some of the coolest people.
That's the coolest people are gardeners.
They is.
I mean, really.
And they come here. One lady, my favorite lady, she came walking with all her kids. She came to pick the green beans because I put it on Facebook. I'm tired of picking green beans. Somebody want them, come get them. So she walks around the corner there, and she's walking along, and she comes to, and she goes, and she started falling over, and I didn't know what she was doing. She was floored, and she was gasping, and she was going, "This is your garden?" And it looked about like this, you know, and going, "Yeah, it's the garden." And she was, "Oh my gosh!" And she wouldn't even let the kids loose. Like she held
Kelly,
all her hands, and
It's pretty magnificent.
you know, because she was struck, you know, and I live with it, so I don't.
It's normal to you.
Yeah, this is just the way it is, you know. And I create this every year, and I spend a month or 2 planning and planting and planning, and I buy seeds and plants and all that from babies, and you know, they're inside under lights and the whole thing.
You do
know?
that whole thing, yeah?
Oh yeah, from
the basement,
scratch, everything, all this stuff here. I mean bean seeds, of course. I buy beans, you know, but I mean the tomatoes, the peppers. You can't get these varieties.
Wait, tomatoes? Those are all from seeds.
You can't get these from the store.
I was gonna ask where you got them from.
Nobody has these. I mean, these are seed. Oh, and here's a trick with this stuff. When you go to plant this stuff, pour the seed in.
Oh, really?
It says, you know, every 2 inches or something. No. Plant them where they're touching.
Really?
Where
Do
the
you thin
seeds
them?
touch. No, don't.
They
thin
just
them.
grow.
No, they just grow. And I mean, if you come around on this side, you can see it better over here. But like when I plant these things, I mean, look how close these things are.
Wow.
Look at this.
Oh yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're in 4 inches. There's 6 plants. You know, but you get this. You know.
Wow.
They just grow like crazy.
So if you had to guess, how many pounds of produce do you think you get a year?
Well, this year I'm pretty sure I'll get 3,000 plus pounds of tomatoes. Tomatoes, 3,000 pounds. Last year I easily got 2,500 pounds. Last year, and I only had 60 plants. I have 70 this year. Cucumbers, that row of cucumbers. This is the 3rd year I've had that row planted right there. It's 33 feet long. First year I planted it there, I got 1,200 pounds, and the reason I know is I actually sold them to a guy for $1 a pound. He took them to the market and sold them for $2 a pound.
Sure.
So he paid me for 1,200 pounds of cucumbers, and we ate them. I mean that was what I sold.
After, right.
There were days that I came out and picked 125 pounds in the morning, and the next day I came out and picked 125 pounds the next day. I had 5 sacks or 5-gallon bucket fulls of cucumbers that I would pick off one row. I only had one row of muncher. and it produced that much. It was crazy. So I thought that must be a fluke. Well, I planted it the next year. Next year I got 1,000 pounds. I even had it on the same fence.
Really?
I didn't even change. I didn't even take the thing down. The next year I just poured more fertilizer, more, compost and chips, and planted it right in there, 1 plant per foot. So 33 plants of muncher, and I got 1,000 pounds.
So you're well over 10,000 pounds of produce. You have to be a year.
I don't even weigh it. Like, we had 40 pounds of strawberries. Potatoes, I'll have, I should take you in the basement. I will. There's 250 pounds on the basement floor, and we haven't even began. We'll get, I'll get 4 or 5 of these buckets out of this row. When I'm done, there'll be 5 buckets. Now, you were asking me about these potatoes. When do you know? Yeah. If you wait too long, they'll start growing.
Oh, right.
They will. They'll begin to. They will grow. So they think they're like it's been a year or something. If your potatoes are growing, you're way late. Okay. And there's a lot of people that say let them go until they're dead. Well, I did that one year, but when I dug them up, they had sprouts all over them, and they were growing. And I was like, no, doesn't work here. We have a long season. Yeah. And you get them in by St. Patrick's Day, 15th of March, and you harvest them October 1. That's a long time. If they're big like this, I just eat the peas.
Oh my gosh! Look at how perfect those look.
Yeah, I don't. They're little. I tell the grandkids they're little. It's little people in boats.
It is.
It's 2 little canoes. Yeah. This one has 2, and this one has 3.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
And they're so sweet. Eat a pea. I mean, seriously, the pea is just so sweet when you eat the pea. It's like eating little green pearls, but they're delicious. I mean, the pod is great, but if you get one that's too big,
oh my gosh.
And just eat the pea. I'm 69, so I started when I was 8. So 61 years, But about first 50 years or 40 years, I did it conventionally. I have a tiller over there. I paid $1,000 for, and I tilled and I weeded and I fertilized it here. Absolutely. Well, over there.
Yeah.
Yep. Not here. This has always been this,
right.
But over there I did.
I remember.
I tilled it and I did conventional gardening.
Yep.
But I had bugs galore, and I would fog the whole backyard with 7, and I got a Woody Woodpecker type thing, like put 7 in it, and I would fog the backyard with 7 once a week.
Wow.
Because that's what they told you to do, and I kill everything. So all the praying mantises, everything good was all dead. Now when I mow the lawn, I just mowed the lawn a few days ago, and praying mantis were flying into the garden from out here.
Alive.
Assassin bugs, ladybugs, all the good stuff. They live here. Mm-hmm. Now bad bugs do too, but the good bugs overtake them. And if your plants are really, really healthy, then they don't have as much pest issue.
Yes.
So healthy plants are good. A week ago, and we picked this and then bundled it back up because the birds will kill themselves to get in here. Yeah, look at the blueberries. I mean, what? And this is after it's been picked. When you.
Oh my gosh! Can I pick one?
Yeah. Get some. Pick a handful.
Oh.
Pick. Get the real dark purple ones. And size doesn't matter. Just make sure they're real purple, not pink.
How old is that blueberry bush?
It's been here about 8 or 9 years.
Yep.
They take a long time.
Yes, they do. I have 2, and they
look how many. When you get a look, I mean, it's loaded.
That is unbelievable. There's so much of that.
It looks like.
And do you prune it, trim it, or you just let it go?
I've never pruned it.
Unbelievable.
Not one. I prune the dead.
Okay.
So
if it dies, you trim that off.
See, and that's an early, and it's done. We picked 6 pounds the first picking, and we picked probably another 5.
Okay.
And then there you go. You got it.
All right, Sam, close it up.
But you have to get this stuff. This is great. I used to use bird netting, but the bird netting let these poke out, and the birds still got them.
Oh.
I have some of this.
Well,
I don't have as big of a deal as you, but
this is great. This is a 10 by 33.
Okay. You just get online.
Yep, Amazon.
Yep.
Yeah, Sluggo Plus. This is
okay.
And I mean, I open the lid, and when I put it out, I do like
really,
man, I just put it out there, and it's just iron phosphate. So it's it's not a bad thing.
It's really bad in our.
But see,
pill bugs.
Pill bug, and cutworms.
Yep.
Cutworms, earwigs. This stuff will So this is my second one.
Okay.
The first one I tried to buy, they were sold out
Really?
this year.
Yep.
And the first one I bought was like $19. Now they're $40 for this. $40.